Hey y'all, it's Gina. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about work in progress and design boards. So I have a lot of things that are going on all at once, and I cut my pieces for different projects. A lot of times I don't cut the entire quilt, I just cut small sections. And so I keep them on my little boards and then I can get to them easily, and I have so many projects I'm kind of out of board. So I need to make a few more, and I thought I would bring you along for the journey here. Okay, so what we're going to need to do. So here's an example of what it looks like. I just have a board. I've cut up all these pieces and I need more boards. So I'm going to take these and put them out of the way. And so what we're going to need for this project is some duct tape and some kind of cutter, rotary cutter or a razor blade. Going to need a piece of foam board. I got this one from Walmart. They also have them at the Dollar General, Target. And so this is just the normal size, I suppose. And then you're going to need some scrap batting, you're going to need some scrap binding, and your trusty sewing machine. So I'm going to show you what I have cut, and then we can, you can decide what's best for you. So you can make these any size that you want to. And before I forget, you can also make yourself a design board to put on your wall with this same technique. So this is one board. If you bought yourself 4 boards, or 6 boards, you could put them on your wall this way or this way and just put them next to each other, or you could attach them all together and do binding around all of them. But this is kind of a cute, super inexpensive, very light, so you don't really have to bother your husband to hang things. I know mine hates it when I'm like, honey, please will you come help me hang something? So super easy project to do yourself that you can make a design board with this same technique. So I cut my pieces, put that aside. I cut my pieces 18 by 12, and then I have 66 inches of 2.5-inch binding strips for each piece. So I like 18 by 12. If they get too much bigger, they kind of bend in the middle and wobble. You can make them 18 by 18. Like I said, it's totally up to you, but for my projects, I'm doing 18 by 12. So the foam board is cut 18 by 12, and the batting scrap is cut 18 by 12. I use some batting that I have left over. I'm a long arm quilter, so I have a ton of batting left over all over the place. So this is a Hobbs 80-20 batting that I'm using. I don't really think it matters. You don't even really have to put the batting on there if you don't want to. You can just leave it the board. It's just kind of more fun with the batting. So anyway, doesn't matter what kind of batting, just use whatever scraps you have. And then, so we're the binding strips, and then I'm gonna use my rulers that I designed for binding to kind of show you how I use them. So it's a good way to practice. So I'm gonna get the sewing machine out, and we're gonna get to sewing. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use some Elmer school glue, and we're gonna put it on the board to keep the batting from wiggling around while we're working with it. And batting stretches, so as you're working, if it starts to stretch a little bit, just trim it off. I'm gonna use just a little bit over here. Okay, so we are going to start sewing. So what we're gonna do, we have a 2.5-inch piece, and we have folded it over and pressed it. And now we're gonna just start sewing. We're gonna line it right up on the edge, and we're gonna stitch right on the edge. So I have my stitch length on a 4, and you could use your walking foot. It might be a little bit easier. I'm not going to right now, but it might make it walk a little bit easier. We're gonna try to stay as close to the edge as possible without getting too close, because we want it to fold over. So I'm going to use my binding boss ruler. I'm going to put it right on the edge, and I'm going to stick my pin right into the foam at the 1/4 inch, so I know where to stop for my miter. And then I'm going to pivot and sew off to the edge and back stitch. And then I'm going to fold the miter, line it back up. Since you're sewing through this board, it tends to kind of shift a little bit. Just be careful if it does, just stop it and move it back over. And definitely go slow when you're stitching through this foam. I'm gonna do my corner again. Push it back, do the miter. Okay, so now we have our two pieces open, the two ends here, and so what we're going to do is we're going to fold either one of them, it doesn't really matter, fold one of them over. We're going to cut it about 1/2 inch. So there's 1/4 inch, there's another. We're just going to use the stripe on this fabric. We're going to cut right on that stripe right there. And then we're going to fold this over and finger press. You can use the iron right now, just be careful since you're dealing with the foam underneath. So we've got it nice and folded. We're going to use some of our glue again. So we're going to push that over. Actually, let's put some on this side too. We're going to push that over. So now we have created a little seam so that we don't have raw edges. And now we're going to take this guy and we're going to tuck it in there. And it doesn't matter where you trim it off, just not close to the top so it catches when you sew it down. Okay, so there's our little opening. Tuck this little dude in there. And then we're going to stitch it down. Okay, we have this all done now. Move the machine out of the way. And now we're going to get our duct tape out. So this part you can do hot glue if you want. I just don't like it. It burns my hands, and I think that the tape is a little easier. They're both a little bit funny to maneuver with, but I feel like the tape is a little easier. You can use the Elmer's glue again right on the edge to keep your pieces down. And then we're going to just fold these pieces over till it sticks to your school glue. So keep in mind, the more you pull it over to this side, the less you're going to see on the front side. So if you pull it real tight, it's going to look really skinny. So just pull it over. You have to remember that these are kind of just for fun. Doesn't really have to be perfect. But if you line your fabric up with your stitch line, it will should look pretty good on both sides. All right, so now we have it temporarily down. That's what it's going to look like on the front side. And if there's any spots that you don't like, you can go back and move it around a little bit. I think it looks fine. The design boards are cute if you're taking pictures of your blocks and you want them to look pretty. You can put a couple of small blocks on your little design board, and it kind of just is a cute little backdrop. So now we're going to take our duct tape, and I'm going to trim the edges. Usually with duct tape you can just kind of pull it, but it makes kind of it's hard to get it exact, so I'm going to cut it. Let's do this side. And the other one that I have with the duct tape on it has lasted a really long time. I've never had any problems with it pulling off. And the design ball that I have up on my wall over there, it is the same technique. I bought some of the big pieces of insulation board from Lowe's. I put the batting on the one side, and then on the back side, I taped it with duct tape. And then my husband put a wood trim around it. But like I said in the beginning, you could do this same technique and put them up on the wall, do one big one with one binding, one big one with another binding, all kind of next to each other. It would look cute and it still would stick. Now we have it all done. So how fun was that? Super easy way to use some of the scraps and things that you have around your house, not spend very much money, and make some super cute little design boards so that you can keep track of all of the pieces that you cut for your patterns. They really turned out cute. So comment and let me know what you think, and I can't wait to see you for the next video. Thanks for watching.